This is FTC. We're going to be covering Losers Bracket number 19. This match is between Tonberry on top and PX on bottom. Tonberry, and for those of you who have been hearing my earlier videos, I'm going to try to cut down on the analysis simply because, as most of you have seen some of these squads before, so there's no point in going over every last detail. However, we're still going to go over the basic 6-point analysis. In terms of HP, Tonberry definitely has an advantage here because, well, you can just look at the numbers yourself. Every single number is higher than every single number on the other team. And furthermore, he is healing and PX does not. However, when it comes to damage, it's completely reversed. PX has far stronger damage. Every single one of his units, except that pretty much that thief that the cursor is pointing to, is the average level of power of Tonberry's entire squad, and that's, by the way, the weakest unit on PX's squad in terms of damage. Every other unit in PX's squad does more than that thief, and some of them range as high as in the 300s. So this is a very, very high damage squad, but it's the only thing this squad is capable of. It doesn't do anything else. And then there's status. That thief has good compat with 3 enemy units, including the Merble. So if PX gets Charm off, he wins. But if the Merble gets Bad Breath off, Tonberry pretty much wins because none of PX's units can deal with any of the status effects, any of the really bad status effects that Bad Breath gives off. So pretty much this is a classic battle between two things. Pretty much who can get Bad Breath off first versus Charm, who can get Charm off first, and who's better, damage or tanking. And to be honest, Synchronization and AI technically should not be colored as they are. I screwed up here. Synchronization does not favor PX because, I mean, to be honest, both of these squads are well synchronized for what they do. But if PX's units ever run low on HP because they can't heal themselves, they're just going to wait in a corner and do absolutely nothing because of how the critical AI works. That's going to put PX at a disadvantage if any of his units ever come into critical. Also, and as for just the minor synchronization mistakes, it would be like something like Tonberry having a 60 Brave Abandoned Knight, which isn't smart, or PX having Magic Ring on a summoner who really, without any inter-party healing, which is the most reliable form of healing with Elemental Absorb. And yeah, that's also, and to be honest, the AI is either way because, like I said, PX has no healing, so he's going to be dealing damage every single turn when possible, except that, like I mentioned before, if any of these units go into critical, they're essentially useless. They don't even have to be killed. They can just run in the corner and do nothing. Alright, that was the problem with synchronization. PX synchronization's biggest problem is this. If his units are... He has 2 units with 6 move and 2 units with 3. On a big map, or even possibly on a medium-sized map, he could end up with 2 units in one area and 2 units in another. Which, if his team is divided up like that, is gonna be a big problem because it'll just be 4 on 2. With that being said, let's actually begin the match. FTC, and I'm going to be covering Losers Bracket number 19. Tonberry versus PX. On top is Tonberry's team, considering on the Lancer. Again, this is an Avatar inspired team. Toph the Ochu, Soka the Knight, and Katara the Mind Flayer. Okay. This is to cast haste on the squad with Time Blast. This is to heal the squad, this is to heal the squad, this is the Bad Breath enemies. Fairly simple setup. PX's squad is you, Mad the Knight, offensive charger, B the Samurai, another offensive charger, the Game the Thief, Charmer, and Troll the Summoner, who casts Cyclops and Haste. Okay, the first map is going to be on map 72. Vogelhelm Plains, where you normally would fight Squid Larkins and Mind Flayers. Okay, the Thief goes first and throws a fireball. Like I said, the damage capacity isn't good, even with compats in their favor, because... And immediately that PX is having an advantage. That Lancer is about to die despite his HP. And Bad Breath puts the Thief to sleep. I think the Knight's charging Protect 2 so that way the Lancer doesn't die. Wow, that Merble nearly died in just one shot from the Knight. But nearly died isn't enough. But I think Cyclops is going to finish him though. Yep. And Counter Flood heals the enemy summoner. Wow. PX is just simply dominating this entire match right now. Okay. Though this could change. Yikes. That confused summoner took an attack by his Lancer for 338. And Cyclops does absolutely nothing because it was targeted on an ally. And Raise 2 does nothing as well. Okay, so PX has an advantage right now. It's, I think, 4 on... No, it's 4 on 3 though. Most of the units are very badly hurt on the other squad. And the summoner wastes another cast of Cyclops. I think she's out of MP now. Okay, the Merble's back. They need that Merble alive if they want to have any chance of winning this battle. Pretty much, they need Petrify, they need Frog, they need Stop. If those procs go off, it'll be very, very hard for anyone to win. Okay, the summoner's just wasting his time, her time, with idiotic. And the Merble chooses a tentacle attack over... Wow, it chooses tentacle attacks over... And yeah, that knight gets mid-charged. Okay. I would argue that this is already over for Tonberry. His units simply can't tank hard enough, and that Merble's not being smart enough. And now that Merble's trapped in an area of the map where he's never likely going to get healed again. Okay. And that knight's going to get mid-charged again. Okay. However, notice what I said earlier about units in the wrong direction. Essentially, PX has 2 units capable of doing anything. Oh, right. And, yes, confusion was cancelled, but your character was killed. Wow. So, Tonberry hasn't lost this yet, even with his Merble out of commission, because of the fighting style of his opponent. As you can see, his opponent, because his splits up his squad so much, it will become very, very hard for PX to actually gather enough force to actually kill him, because all he'll have to do is just keep sandbagging. However, there is one problem. That knight has an abandoned elf mantle, meaning that knight is going to be very hard to directly take down. They need the Merble for that, but the Merble's not here. He's dead. And a critical puts an end to that. Mind Flare, okay, this is over. We're just watching PX slowly encircle his opponent. Right. So... Okay, congrats PX, you win round 1. Let's see what happens on round 2. Hi everyone, this is FTC, and we're going to be doing match number 2 between PX and Tonberry. PX won the first round simply by virtue of his powerful offense, which kept Tonberry defending the whole match, and despite his units getting split up because of 6 move and then 3 move, didn't matter because he kept Tonberry on the defensive for the entire match. What clinched it was that Tonberry's Merble Ochu chose Tentacle over Bad Breath, because that's the only thing that can really affect PX's squad and just mess it up entirely. Okay, let's see what happens on map 61. Underground book storage, 5th floor, where you fight Rollful. Alright. And the thief charges forward and uses her fireballs. It's pretty much her signature opening move. And this time the Lancer crits. And she's already put into critical. She has an angel ring, but remember, Once she goes down, she's not coming back up. And that's a fairly nice AI exploitation here, because of the fact that no one was really hurt on that squad, Protect 2 is the only thing that's going to get casted. Oh wow. That's a Cyclops spell for a lot. And that summoner, well, though, won't survive the casting. Wow, Mind Blast missed twice. Okay, maybe Cyclops will go off. This will be another PX victory. Huh. Yeah, in general, the units that are best able to use Bullseye is actually Monk, because that formula is... Okay, that summoner goes down to, wow, a double status cast. This is over. PX, you have 2 units left on your team that can do anything. And that Lancer will just keep damage splitting everything you have to oblivion. Yeah, back to Bullseye. Bullseye is more effective when used on... Bad Breath is now just icing. Okay, it gets guarded. But Bullseye, like I said, works more effectively on units that have 2 swords because it's a weapon. It's weapon range, so it functions twice. So it will hit twice if you have 2 weapons. But it's also true that, okay, that thief was killed by damage split. No. And even despite the low raise 2 chance, I'd argue that this is already over for PX. It's 4-on-2, permanently so, and it's going to be 4-on-1 very soon. Okay, that knight's confused. And then Bad Breath, who knows what's going to happen. And then Silenced, okay. But anyways, and the other thing that boosts Bullseye a lot is... Confusion is taken out, though. Anyways, the other thing that boosts it by a lot is Martial Arts, because it's a PA plus Y over 2 times PA formula, and anything that has PA in it doesn't have weapon power is always boosted by Martial Arts. It's how square coded FFT. Okay, that knight's dead. That knight is just slowly getting encircled and killed by the enemy. Okay, so we're gonna have a round 3. This is FTC, and we're going to be doing Losers Bracket 19 between Tonberry and PX. This is going to be match 3. Tonberry came back in match 2, despite PX's heavy damage output, simply by taking down his units 1 by 1. That Merble proved that he didn't need his Merble to win, but the Merble proved very helpful in destroying the last remnants of PX's resistance. Though what he got lucky on, of course, was Counter Flood, which put the Samurai to sleep and took out pretty much half of PX's damage distribution. Let's see what happens on map 18, Office of Tonberry Castle, where you fight Quecklane, I think. No, it's not. It's where, no, Tonberry, right. This is where Vormov and whoujamacallit discuss tactics. And immediately that Lancer is charmed. But since that Lancer doesn't do too much damage, it's not that bad. Mind Blast immediately confuses the Samurai. Confused Samurai attacks the knight and does nothing. Okay, but it's broken by the summoner. However, notice that 2 units essentially had to waste their turns to break all those things. Wow, through Mantle Abandon, hit twice. And the Lancer's finally uncharmed after taking 160 damage. Already PX has an advantage. On a small map, his units aren't going to have any movement penalties or getting split up because, well, the map's too small for that. And now I think that's a Cyclops. If that hits, that Lancer should be dead. And an Abandon saves that knight from Don't Act. And yep, the Lancer's dead. Okay, so now it's already 4-on-1. But that Merble is a lot stronger than it looks. It could easily... Okay, 4-on-2, but... It depends. Can that Merble stop the entire enemy squad? If it gets Petrify procs, it literally could. Or Frog procs. Okay, that's another charge. Let's see what happens. Oh. And it didn't use bad breath. I think it's because its vertical tolerance is 0. Okay, that Myrtle's dead. And is likely overhyped as a monster type altogether because of all these height restrictions. Okay, PX took match 3. I mean map, the third map, no questions asked. This is, watching this, it's just watching slaughter. Yep. Congrats PX, you won map 3, and thus you will be advancing. Tonberry, you've been eliminated.